and welcome to this week's GG Weekend Watch, kindly sponsored by SBK, with your regular team, surprise, surprise, me in the hosting seat with Daryl Carter and Andrew Mount as well, to guide you through yet another fantastic week of jump racing. We're heading to Haydock and Ascot. Of course, we've got the Grade 1 Betfair Chase as our feature race of the day, but plenty of other fascinating contests to dive into. And the lads are going to provide you as many winners as they usually do as well. So no pressure, lads, but plenty of top-notch racing to look forward to. So we're going to crack on straight away then with the 150 at Haydock. This is a graduation chase for 4-year-olds and over 2 mile, 5.5 furlongs, where Brave Man's Game is the current odds-on favourite in the hope that he can remain unbeaten over fences on just his second start over the larger obstacles. But he does have 3 rivals to contend with here. But Andrew, is it as simple as he just has to jump around here?
I don't think it is, given that they pulled him out because of good ground, Wincanton the other week. It's not exactly going to be hock-deep mud as we often associate with Haydock. What they're calling it good to soft, good in places. That could mean anything from firm, hard in places to heavy, waterlogged in places, given Kirkland Tellwright's going reports. But it might be a little bit on the quick side for him. I mean, Alnadam's another one who needs proper deep ground, so I'd be against him. Itchy Feet's a poor jumper. When our radio colleague Ken Pearson, paddock experts, often said he hasn't got the size and scope for chasing. I know he won that novice chase at Sandown, Grade 1, a couple of years ago, but his jumping's really struggled since. I'll be dead against Itchy Feet. The one I'm looking at is Pay the Piper, who's perhaps been underrated because he's trained by Anne Hamilton rather than a bigger name trainer. And he's never finished worse than second under rules. Is he best at 2 miles? Perhaps he is. But I'd rather take a chance on him at 11-2 or thereabouts to small stakes than Brave Man's Game. Fascinating race, but there's a few here who, perhaps look up against it in the conditions we're going to see.
Yeah, as you say, conditions are going to play a significant factor, aren't they? Because as has been very uncustomary for Haydock at this time of year with the Betfair Chase that we normally associate as a mudlark's paradise, we just haven't had the rain. We haven't had any sort of rain. The only reason it's been kept as good to soft is basically the morning dew and the mist that they're getting in the morning. So ground, as Andrew said, is going to play a significant part up at Haydock then this week. And an angle into this race as well, which was a fair effort to find that, considering the odds-on price about Brave Man's Game. Daryl, do you also find a way into this race?
Yeah, I thought Brave Man's Game was very, very short, to be honest. He was getting £12 at Newton Abbot last time from Fusa Raffles and the big breakaway. We both thought, actually, at the time, didn't we, that Fusa Raffles may not have been fully wound up for that particular race. He was on the front end. He had a very soft time of things out in front. He jumped impeccably well. He is an improving novice, but on the balance of his form, I think you've got to take him on at odds on. This is a real acid test for him now. If he can win this and win this impressively, then it's probably time to start getting excited. But I kind of feel like the bookmakers have got a little bit excited before he's won this race already. I think his potential was built into that price for sure. I actually really like Itchy Feet for this. I thought his second behind All Mankind in the old Rowan last time was a fantastic piece of form. He gave £7 to the subsequent Paddy Power Gold Cup winner, Midnight Shadow. Congratulations for that tip, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. You're very kind of you to put that in there.
and I thought another half a furlong or a furlong that he gets here, he would have beaten All Mankind, albeit he was in receipt of weight. If you go through Itchy Feet's form, I know he's not the best jumper, but a lot of horses get crabbed for not being the best jumper. But look at where he's finishing, despite not jumping terribly well. That suggests he's got a fairly sizable engine to me. This is easier than many of his races he's faced, at least in the last year of his career over fences. And this was a horse that was going off at 7-2 for the Marsh in 2020. I mean, he's beaten 18 horses that are rated 146 plus, and 11 of those have been rated higher than Brave Man's Game. If you go through Brave Man's Game form, how many horses has he beaten that's been rated 146 plus? Not many at all. And I think there's excuses for the two in behind him at Newton Abbot last time. So this is a different ball game for Brave Man's Game. I couldn't be touching him at the prices. I think the price about Itchy Feet is completely wrong. You can get 4-1 on him. I think he sets the standard. I know he's going to give away a little bit of weight to Brave Man's Game, but he's still a pound, still a pound well off with him. Yeah, I don't see the issue with Itchy Feet, really. The second starting chickpeas, I think there's plenty to like about him. I think he sets the standard for me.
Yeah, no, certainly so. And as you say, on official ratings, he does in this race as well. So to give that weight away, and both of the lads there taking on the odds-on favourite of Brave Man's Game, I have to agree. I thought at that price he was totally worth taking on as well. And I just hope one of these other three runners just really puts his jumping under pressure, because as you said, Daryl, he just didn't get that last time out at the easiest time of things. So I really don't think we learned that much about him. We're going to learn far more here. And if he wins, and he's a good horse. And then, but at least we'll have that decided there and then. So we'll move on to the next race, which is more of a competitive heat anyway. This is a fascinating contest. This is the Grade 3 Stayers Handicap Hurdle over 3 miles. As I say, as wide open a contest as we usually expect, with Riggs currently heading the market at 11-2 at the time of recording. Now, I'm not sure this is a vintage renewal of this race in terms of the horse's abilities turning up here in comparison to previous years. However, there is no denying this is a highly competitive race. Plenty of angles to be taken into this race. But Daryl, who did you come down on the side of?
Oh, about 8 of them. I thought it was very difficult.
You're allowed a few in this.
Yeah, I thought you could make cases for a good few in here, to be honest. Riggs has been well found in the market this week. He was going to be my choice earlier in the week when he was about 8 or 9 to 1. He's definitely going to improve for the step up and trip. I think he's well treated off a mark of 127. He would have beaten the likes of Ascot, Honeybee and beat the Bullet, who are rated 133 and 127 on his penultimate start at Utah. This trip is definitely the key to him. So I think he's got a massive chance. I like Orbys Legend. I thought that run at Chepstow was massive. Connection seemed to be very convinced that he's going to get this 3-mile trip. On that evidence, you would be questioning it, I suppose. But you're a braver man than me than to doubt Philip Hobbs at the moment. And then Did They Leave You Out Too was the other horse. I was really quite keen on him at Newbury after that eye-catching run behind Orbys Legend at Chepstow. He just hits a bit of a flat spot for me, I've noticed, similar to Paisley Park, actually. And then he stays on really strongly. I think this track could really suit Did They Leave You Out Too. It's a very long home straight here at Haydock, and it's about a furlong and a half running from the last to the line, I think. That will definitely suit Did They Leave You Out Too. It wouldn't surprise me if he was being nudged along as they were coming into the home straight, and it just sticks to the task quite well. This track can throw up a few weird results, and it's never over until it's over. These sort of races, look, you can give a lot of chance. I think Did They Leave You Out Too at a double figure price. Don't see why he's 14 to 1 when Orbys Legend is really 11 to 2, given how close they were at Chepstow. And this trip is exactly what Did They Leave You Out Too wants. I know the ground might just be a touch on the soft side for him. He does want it quick, but I don't think that's too much of an issue for Nick Gifford's runner. So let's go Did They Leave You Out Too at a double figure price.
Yeah, so Did They Leave You Out Too, you say around 14 to 1, and really focusing on that Chepstow form line as well between Did They Leave You Out Too and Orbys Legend. But he is a much bigger price than Orbys Legend. So Andrew, your angle into this race, please.
Yeah, cracking race. There's 2 I really like here. One of those is Stony Mountain. He won this off 138 for Henry Daly a couple of years ago. He's on 142 today. He won last time out. He does seem best at this time of year. Now, all his hurdle wins have come from late October to mid-December. If you just look at his record over hurdles in the final quarter, 5 wins and a head second from 6 starts. So, if he's improved for joining Jamie Snowden, which his last run suggests that he might have done, then I think Stony Mountain 14 to 1 can perhaps go close to repeating that previous win in the race. And Ask Dillon. Now, there's loads of runners, but there's not as much pace as you'd expect for a field of this size. Now, he looks like he might get a relatively soft time of things at the head of affairs, if indeed he does elect to make the running. Now, last time out at Weatherby, he ran in the Yorkshire Hurdle, the Grade 2 contest. He's raced in the swamp on the inside rail, and as did Master Tommytucker and Paisley Park. That was no good to him. Prashima was flattered coming around the outside. The winner, Indefatigable, flattered by coming around the outside, like all or most of the hurdle winners at Weatherby at that 2-day Charlie Hall meeting. Now, the last time he ran in a handicap hurdle, Ask Dillon won at Cheltenham very comfortably in the spring off a mark of 144. He runs off the same mark here. And you look at his full record in handicap hurdles, he's had 8 runs. He's finished in the frame in 7 of those 8 runs, winning once. And the only time he was out the first 4 was finishing 6th in last season's per attempts final. He was 28-1. He's done 3rd best of the Brits, and he's come from off the pace when, you know, his best efforts have come when he's ridden a little bit more prominently. So I think he's got a fantastic chance. He's trained by Fergal O'Brien, who's in brilliant form at the moment. He's 25-1. You know, some firms are offering 5 and 6 places, and he's never run a bad race in a handicap hurdle. If he elects to go forward, he ran in the race last year because he was 4th. 6 of the first 8 home came from miles back. There was a big pace collapse that day. You know, Whetstone and Clyde have gone too quick. Only 2 of the first 8 are anywhere near the early pace. He was one of them. So yeah, ask Dillon over Stony Mountain. Cracking race.
Yeah, nice prices. And you say ask Dillon around 25-1 then for the informed Fergal O'Brien yard and Stony Mountain to win this race again. So another horse at around 12-1 as well. So we're all going double figure prices. And I feel like I shouldn't have just honed in on Daryl, just have the one selection, because I'm also going for 2 selections as well, as Andrew has. So Daryl, you're allowed the 2, because I'm also selecting 2 in this. I'm going Orbys Legend. So I'm happy you gave him a positive mention yourself, Daryl, because as you say, I was unsure whether this trip was really going to suit him. You know, he is very unexposed. He's the 5-year-old, whether or not this was going to work. But I went back and watched that Chepstow run. And as you can see, he's outpaced before the swing into the home straight. Tom O'Brien just gave him the best ride, because considering it was that race that we normally are used to, you know, strong pace early on, there really wasn't actually that when you looked at the early sectionals. And then he had him so well positioned to really capitalize on when they kicked. And he was outpaced and he was really pushed up into the bridle. And then Tom O'Brien from the back of the 3rd last, he really just sent him on to make sure he wasn't going to be outdone by a quicker horse with a sharper turn of foot than him. And then as a result, the way he winged the last, I thought, good, you've got plenty left in reserve there.
That was a hell of a jump, that last.
Wasn't it? It was so fast and accurate. And then when I know Did They Leave You Out too, close into the line, but sure, he was being eased at that point anyway, Orbys Legend. So on that basis, and as you say, connections really feel he'll get the trip. So I really like Orbys Legend to continue that progression. But I've gone for a horse at the other end of the scale as well, who certainly isn't unexposed. We know everything about this horse, warts and all, if the cap fits. Because for me, as I say, I'm not sure, looking back at recent runnings of this race, this is vintage in terms of the caliber we currently know of these horses. So siding with a class angle, the top weight here, if the cap fits, I thought was a way to go. He's an enigma of a horse. Over fences, it just didn't work out for him. He seemed to get outpaced over every single trip over fences. Didn't work out for him. Back over hurdles. This is just plays to all of his, the optimal conditions he wants. Last time out, finishing second to Brewing Up a Storm, when Brewing Up a Storm finally did what Connections have always hoped he'd do. Still think that was a fair run. He's very well handicapped. He's actually been given £1 back then for even that run last time out. So he's very well weighted here. And as I say, I think the class angle in a race of this, when I know conditions will suit him, is probably the way to go, around 12-1 for if the cap fits. So they're my couple to chuck into the mix as well. But fascinating race, and we've all got our angles into it. So we're going to move on to the 3 o'clock. This is the feature race of the day, the Grade 1 Betfair Chase for 5-year-olds and over 3 mile, 1.5 furlongs. We have the Gold Cup second place, our Plutard heading the market as well as heading the official ratings. From the wonderful grey, Bristol Domain second, who bids to emulate the great Corto Star and win a 4th Betfair Chase. But as we said earlier on, we know ground conditions aren't what we usually associate with the Betfair Chase. And as I say, we're probably likely to get good soft ground. But even that ground, it's going to have at least a little bit of juice in it anyway. But Bristol Domain did win this race on officially good ground in 2018, where he was 3 seconds quicker than standard as well. So for all, I don't think the ground is to the detriment of Bristol Domain's chances. I just think he handles heavier ground better than most. However, better ground here will likely bring his rivals closer then to him, which is a notable distinction to make, I think. And because he's a 10-year-old now, Plutard's a 7-year-old, far more to come over 3 mile plus, I think. For me, that makes Henry de Bromhead's horse the horse to beat in this race. But Andrew, back to you, please, for your selection for the Betfair Chase.
Yeah, I want to be against Bristol Domain. I love him. I think he's fantastic. You know, he deserves his rating when he runs at Haydock. The trouble is, when he did win it on quickish ground, it was against Lost in Translation, who was pulled up twice and beaten 26 lengths from his 3 subsequent starts. It wasn't a deep race. It's a much deeper race this time round. Now, when I first looked at A Plus Tard, I thought, well, he's going left-handed, which is what he needs. He's 4 from 8 this way around. He's never won right-handed. But, you know, is he going to need the run? You look at his seasonal debut record, you think he's 0 from 3, but you say, hang on a minute. One of those defeats was by a neck on his first run since leaving France. The other 2 came over 2 miles, which is woefully inadequate. And like Henry de Bromhead is not going to aim him at a grade 1 race and not have him spot on, is he? You know, if he needed a run, he would have had one sort of 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I think A Plus Tard is very solid. You know, stamina-wise, I'm not worried after his Gold Cup run. The easier track will suit. Look at his form at Leopardstown, a flatter left-handed track's absolutely ideal. But there are others you could give a squeak to. Next Destination, he's got the Magic Nichols first-time cheap pieces on. We've seen what those have done to classy horses in the past. You know, Seymour Business winning a Gold Cup in first time. Clan des Aubins more recently, of course, took off last year, didn't he, when he was fitted with the cheap pieces. You've got Imperial Aura, first run after a wind up, stepping up in trip. He's fascinating for Kim Bailey. Royal Pagaille, can he build on what he did last season, although he probably needs much deeper ground himself? And Waiting Patiently, a trainer upgrade, you know, finally left the care of Ruth Jefferson. But will he just do what he normally does, which is stay on when the race is all but over to finish second, whether it's 2 miles, 3 miles, or 8.5 miles? So it's a fascinating race. Gun to my head, A Plus Tard. If I was having a bet, I'd probably take a chance on Imperial Aura up in trip after the wind up.
Yeah, as you say, Imperial Aura is fascinating in this race, isn't he? So if you wanted to oppose a favourite, Imperial Aura for Andrew, but I'd say it's very difficult to see past A Plus Tard for the pair of us two. Daryl, yourself, please.
Yeah, cracking race this. Brilliant race. Yeah, I agree with Andrew in terms of A Plus Tard will probably be ready to roll here, but there's only so much they can do at home with him. He's got to... you know, show that he can do it on the back of a break. He's been beaten the 3 times now. So I do want to be against him. I don't want to back him at 6-4, really. I wanted to be against Bristol de Mai and Waiting Patiently. I thought Next Destination had definite claims. He was only beaten by Galvin in the National Hunt Chase, wasn't he? Galvin's an improving horse. He's a very likely race, Next Destination, so he could definitely have a say in this. But I'm going to be with Royal Pagaille. And I know it's quite easy to say, this horse wants deep ground or he wants heavy ground, but it wasn't the ground that got him beat in the Gold Cup. It was the terrible jumping. Now, I watched back the Gold Cup this morning. He hit every fence bar one. He hit every single fence, right? But he was still bang there on the tail of the field, travelling really nicely, just coming down to about 4 out. And then it was just that one more mistake as they quickened on the home turn. You just saw him empty. It was just too much. Honestly, you go and watch every single fence he smashed. I don't know how he was still going. I really don't. But he comes back to Haydock, and it's interesting that his real top performances last season, those 3 runs came on flat tracks. It doesn't normally jump like that in the Gold Cup. Sorry, my point was, look, prior to that, at Haydock and at Kempton, and again at Haydock, he jumped like a dream. So I'm just wondering if
it's the flatter track.
I'm just wondering if it's flatter tracks that see him jump much better, because it certainly wasn't the ground that was getting him beat at Cheltenham. And he returns to Haydock where he's won twice. He recorded the highest the second highest RPR in the last 10 years when winning that Petermarsh, only bettered by Bristol de Mai by £1. He's only had 12 runs. He's a 7-year-old. I think 8-1. I think you can back him each way. I think he's got a massive engine. It would be interesting to see how he gets on with the ground, but I don't think they're going to run this bet. I think they would have watered for this. I don't think they're going to run this on quick ground. I don't. I think they wanted to make sure that they got a good field for this. I think it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be a bit of juice in the ground. He's got a good record fresh. He's an improving 7-year-old. I think there's question marks over Bristol de Mai Waiting Patiently. I mean, the 3 places are up for grabs, aren't they? So I'd take a chance on Royal Pagaille. We could be talking about him for the Gold Cup after this race. So, yeah, he's rated 163. He's bang there, isn't he?
He is, as you say, bang there on ratings. And with that RPR, as you say, that just speaks volumes, doesn't it? And just because of the one run in the Gold Cup, he just sort of seems to have been cast aside, and so many people were keen on him for the Gold Cup, and I totally agree. His jumping was awful. It really was in that, and I just thought it was more a shock to the system than anything else in it. But as I say, we're going to find out an awful lot more about him here. But you're getting compensated for that around 10-1, really, with the 3 places on offer as well. So yeah, Royal Pagaille, absolutely fascinating runner that I've barely heard anyone talk about, so I'm happy we acknowledged him. But yeah, cracking race all in all. So really, really looking forward to that Grade 1 contest. Now we're going to move on to our final scheduled race of Haydock, and this is a 0-145 handicap chase for 4-year-olds and over 3 mile, 1.5 furlongs. So the same trip as the Betfair Chase, where Cheltenham hero from last weekend, Strictly a Dancer, currently heads the market to gain another win on this quick turnaround. But Daryl, can he win again here?
I don't know, probably, but I don't really want to be with him. I want to be with Ramses Teillee.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, I thought his run at Newton Abbot over hurdles last time was clearly a prep run. He did too much too soon on the front end. He just blew up coming to the third last. But I thought he went well for quite a long way. He looked like the winner, turning in for home. He's £2 lower now than, Fergus has taken 3 off, so he's effectively £5 lower than when beating Yarenki by a short head at Cheltenham this time last year. He's been dropped £5 for a few runs over 4 miles 2, 3 miles 4, 3 miles 6. He goes well at Haydock. He's was a good winner here in the Grade 2 over hurdles last February. He's a runner-up in the Grade 2 chase here, or Grade 3 chase here. Ground's no issue. He's a handicap to go well. Yarenki actually won that race at Ramses, won, didn't he, last weekend? So, and he was a pound higher. So the form looks pretty solid. This is one of the easiest tasks he's had, I think, since about 2018. So, yeah, I thought he was an attractive price at around 10-3, taking on Strictly a Dancer.
Definitely so. Say I can see 4s in a place as well. Then yeah, so or 92. Yeah, so the Ramses Teillee, he's such a wonderful grey. I absolutely love him. So yeah, so Ramses Teillee then for Daryl. Andrew, yourself, please.
Yeah, no strong opinion. I mean, I napped Strictly a Dancer last week when he's won at Cheltenham, 16-4 that day. Thank you. I was just fishing for compliments there. And,
it worked.
I don't have many winners, and but I couldn't back him here at 30-8. His last 3 wins have come at Cheltenham, twice in Exeter. Does he need a stiffer track? I know he reportedly finished lame when he ran a respectable 4th here to Innisfree Lad not that long ago, but on a very different track. Maybe this is a bit of an afterthought after that, 2 quick wins at Cheltenham. So we're not for me at the price. Empire Steel's the most interesting one. 2 from 2 on his seasonal debut. Sandy Thompson's a little bit of a slow start to the season, but he had a winner in Doyen Breed the other day. He probably needs it softer though. So he's the kind of horse I'd want to watch the earlier races to see, how the track is riding and look at the times of the races. But I'll go Empire Steer tentatively. The interesting one for next time is Jerk Dancer, who's won 3rd time out in 3 of the last 4 seasons. And he'll improve for that Weatherby run last month, but I think he'll probably need one more run here. So I'm looking for Joke Dancer to sort of finish, sort of 3rd, 4th, 5th, 14.5 lengths behind the winner with a view to backing him next time. So that's probably the most interesting aspect of this race for me.
Oh, great. Fair enough. Fair play. So Joe Dancer was a fascinating one for me in this race. I'm trying to find my in, and I was just waiting for either one of you two to sort of bring him up and his chances here. So you brought him up, but maybe not in the way that I was really hoping for. But
Are you not worried that he jumps out to the right?
Around
I was against him all last season because he just jumps out to the right and loses so much ground.
Yeah, I think of all tracks, Haydock with the 2 straights, I'm not as concerned about as if it was a turning track as such. But yeah, I mean, he, as you say, that's going to be a bit of a crux about his chances. But of all the tracks, Haydock will probably be the track I'm least concerned about for that. But he's fascinating there as the outsider of a lot. And yeah, sort of, you can get any amount of different prices about him for that race. But really interesting anyway. Now, Andrew, I'm going to throw it back to you for anything else from Haydock, please.
Yeah, just in the 115 Thibault for Adam West, who I thought would improve for his run so far this season. Should get a strong pace here. I'd have preferred like a 20-runner lineup rather than 10 or 11, whatever we've got. But we've got a couple of pace angles, and trainer had a winner at Market Raisin on Thursday. So hopefully Thibault gets the strong pace and can reward each way support in the 115.
Yeah, Thibault or Thibault, whichever way you want to pronounce his name. Whichever way. It's to be fair, I don't know which exactly it is, but this is the part. Yeah, exactly. Who cares if he wins? Yeah, you're getting 14-1. That's all I can know accurately anyway. But yeah, that is in the 115 at Haydock. And Daryl, yourself, please, for any pronunciation issues we may have to contest.
But I'm hoping whatever that horse was called won't win, because I like our surprise in the 115. I thought, I thought he did remarkably well last time behind half a piece, given how keen he was in the early stages. The hood goes on today. I think that's a really good move. He's well handicapped off a mark of 123, surely. I didn't think there was too many in this race that were well treated. I thought they were all about right, to be honest. So our surprise.
So taking on Andrew there in the 115 at Haydock, both lads citing this race, but with different selections. Our surprise and Thibault / Thibault for that 115 at Haydock. So we will move on to Ascot then, 'cause that's all of our scheduled races covered from Haydock. And we're going to start with the 205. This is a fascinating contest in the Grade 2 1965 Chase over 2 mile 5, where Daryl Carter currently heads the market to further add to his course and distance CV here. But of course, he's going to be without his regular partner, Matt Griffiths, in this race, as Matt Griffiths continues to receive treatment for injury sustained in a car crash. And we, as always, wish him and his family all the best, and he will be sorely missed this weekend, of course. And also my concern with Daryl Carter here is the lack of Matt Griffiths, who he's just made for this horse. And it's no detriment at all to Rex Dingle, who is a very talented pilot, but Matt Griffiths just has so much trust in this horse, and he needs to, because he's not straightforward. He's not an easy ride at all. And I'm concerned that he's coming here fresh on the back of a 9-month break, and he can belt fences, especially when he's fresh. So I'm siding against him here with Defi de Seuil, in the hope that this return to 2 mile 5 will see him revitalized, because he did this before when he had the issue, when you just saw him as a shadow of his former self in 2017 to 2018. That was rectified. He came back just as good as ever. I'm hoping the same magic has been worked on him here, and he'll bounce back to similar form this season, because as we know, he has no end of talent, which he's more than likely to show over this intermediate trip for me. So he's going to be my selection. But Daryl, how about yourself?
I agree in taking Daryl Carter on. I think
good start.
He's been beaten off a break 3 times as well. He tends to need the run, in my opinion. I thought Defi de Seuil was the best horse in the race, clearly the most talented horse in the race. But at 10-3, he's got some questions to answer, hasn't he?
Serious questions to answer.
I just couldn't bring myself to have a punt on him. Just
10-3, it's 130, mate.
You know what I mean. And Lost in Translation, the other one as well. You know, the 2 class acts of the field, they've got questions to answer.
Yeah.
So I was not really. I'm going to Ascot on Saturday, right, in a box, and I'm going
very
with
nice.
a load of lads, taking the
Someone's
lads
doing well.
Day out racing. And I've looked at this card. I'm really struggling to find this card. Yeah. So when they're all asking me what wins, I'm going to tell them I don't know. But anyway, Master Tommytucker was the one that I came down on. I know he's got to give a bit of weight away here, but I thought he had Daryl Carter. I thought he had Benny's King well covered when behind Daryl Carter. I don't think the £6 is going to make too much of a difference. He's had a prep run over hurdles, which we now know is a prep run. We didn't think it was at the time, but I just think he's got the least amount of questions to answer for me. I don't think there's too much wrong with him. He's going to run his race. He's gone well here before. Nothing really to find with a fav. Yeah, I mean, this comes down to what Defi de Seuil and what Lost in Translation is going to turn up, doesn't it, really? So you're taking a chance, but I thought a bit of value would probably be Master Tommytucker, given he's got no questions to answer, really.
Yeah. So considering he's like an oddball, he's actually really consistent. He's sort of he's such a strange horse, because you want to doubt him, but actually when you look through his form and his record, he actually has the least questions left to answer, which it probably speaks volumes of the race in itself, really, doesn't it? But yeah, tricky contest, tricky to find a way into it. Andrew, can you solve it in any other aspect?
And again, bless you for not saying, talking of oddballs, what do you think about this round?
Talking of consistency, there you go.
I wrote up Master Tommytucker in my eye catchers column after his Weatherby comeback run. He's gone around the swamp on the inside. Like so many horses, disappointed at that Charlie Hall meeting. So I'll be backing him here. 5-1 seems a good price. I know he's a 10-year-old, but I think
very likely race 10-year-old though.
Yeah,
exactly. He's going to do better back over fences. And the other interesting one is Benny's King, who loves Ascot and goes well at this time of year. Now, he's an early season type. You look at his record in November and December. It's when he ran 4 wins from 10 starts in his career. When he's run at this time of year after a recent outing within the last 6 weeks, he's had 5 goes, 4 wins, and a 5th. Now he's also run well twice here in January. His top 4 Racing Post ratings have come at Ascot, Benny's King. So I know he was, pulled up here last time, kind of stretching the definition of his best in November, December, because that was like on the 30th of October. But he could bounce back at a big price. And Dashel Drasses, I know Daryl doesn't believe in stable form, but another reason for perhaps taking on the favourite is Jeremy Scott's form. Since the beginning of June, he's had 48 runners, 1 winner. The expected number of winners was almost 5. And I've been watching quite a few of them closely at single-figure prices. They've just not really been finding much at the business end. I think they're all running as if they need the run, So I think Dashel Drasher will disappoint and finish out the frame here. So, if you place potting at Ascot, try and be a bit more creative in this race perhaps and take on Dashel.
Yeah, so, oh goodness. So, yeah, we're all taking on Dashel Drasher there. And the lads giving favourable mentions then, both of them, for Master Tommytucker as well, who, as you say, is 10-year-old. He's sort of got the profile that we expect. We've got so many horses that we cover where, goodness me, they're only an 8-year-old. They feel like they should be 23. And he's sort of the opposite. He feels like he should only be 7 and he's 10 because he's so lightly raced. And yeah, he is just fascinating. But another mention as well then for Benny's King for Andrew. But we're all taking on the Fav, which is going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. So we'll move on to the 240 at Ascot. This is the Grade 2 Coral Hurdle over 2 mile 3, where Buzz returns to obstacles on the back of his quite brilliant win in the Cesarewitch last time out. So Andrew, can he get another win here?
No, there's 5 runners. There's two and a half runners here, and they don't include Buzz and they don't include Goshen, the favourite and the second favourite. Now, I like Buzz. He's one of those horses that you want to back each way at a big price in a huge field. And when I did my preview of the Champion Hurdle for the GG website last season, I put him up as a potential, each way pick in the race around about 50 to 1. Now, he likes a big field. He likes a strong pace. He won the Cesarewitch with 84 runners, however many they have in that.
Give or take 1 or 2, yeah.
Back over jumps in a field of 5 runners where they're going to, no way. He's terrible price at 5 to 4. You've got to leave him out of your calculations here. Goshen, he's going right-handed, yes, but yeah, they've pulled him out of Wincanton, haven't they, because of good ground. What's he running on here? Good ground. You look at his form, he looks like now that he needs it properly deep, and so not for me. And if he goes violently out to his right, he's going to end up on the far side, which generally is not the place to be at Ascot over hurdles. Certainly wasn't at the last meeting. So you're then left with Song for Someone, who's had a wind up since his last run. So he likes Ascot. He goes well fresh. So there's lots of ticks in boxes for that one. Around about 13 to 2. Guard Your Dreams is the outsider in the entire field. I don't know why. He clocked a really good time when winning at Cheltenham last time out, and he looks progressive for Twiston Davis. So I'd have him on my side. And the half a runner was Molly's Ollie's Wishes. But the worry is with her is that she's had 4 runs outside of Mares Only Company. She's lost all of them. Now, in fairness, she was 3rd in 3 of them, and she was no shorter than 7 to 1 for all those 4 starts. So, but yeah, I'd be very keen on backing both Guard Your Dreams, Song for Someone, and doing the forecast as well. And I've got nothing against Buzz as a horse, but in a small field tactical affair, they're not going to go quick enough for him. And if you want to take him on, it's when he's 5 to 4 for a race like this. So don't be fooled. Don't be buzzing at Ascot on Saturday.
Don't be buzzing at Ascot. Right, we'll use that as the motto then for this week's podcast. Taking him on with Song for Someone and Guard Your Dreams, and have a mention for Molly Ollie's Wishes. Yeah, certainly. So, and as you say for Goshen, when I put him up at Wincanton last night, I sort of got off the podcast and I went back and I just double checked the forecast, and I thought, what an idiot. Why did I do that? I just thought, I can't take that back now. Because
get out of jail free card when they pulled him out though, I guess.
Yeah, I know. Thank goodness they did. Because I went back and watched his Punchestown run and I was like, what was I doing? I was like, the knee lift on him. He just wants deep ground, doesn't he? And as you say, and so it's going to be fascinating if he even runs here. But yeah,
that's another good angle for the play spot, isn't it? So, because then you're going to have to be on the winner. So there could be a real shock here. We've already got Dashel Drasher beat earlier. So when there's 4 runners and Guard Your Dream wins at 8 to 1, it's going to play a nice few quid.
Yeah, exactly. Certainly so. It really is, isn't it? Yeah, so definitely a good mention for the play spot there. Daryl, yourself, please, for this really interesting race.
I think Goshen might win this. I think he might win this. I mean, if he's not winning this, my God, what are they going to do with him?
Yeah,
what are they going to do with him? Look, I know the ground is the issue. I know that.
At least it won't be as quick as it was meant to be at Wincanton because time of year.
And the step up and trip as well should compensate for that, I think, a little bit. I think a lot of horses that run in the Triumph Hurdle, they end up being 3 miles. They end up being stayed.
Yeah.
The run at Punchestown last time was just, we spoke about it the other week, it was just ridiculous from Jamie Moore. I don't know why on earth he was trying to battle for the lead. He looked flat out for the whole 2 miles there. I thought that was just completely worth writing off. Then his run previous to that at Cheltenham, obviously, we know what happened there in the Champion Hurdle. He went out to the right, cost me an absolute fortune. And then again, of course, it's on heavy ground, but he's beaten someone for 22 lengths. Previous to that was at Cheltenham, and then it was his Triumph Hurdle run. So I know it feels like with Goshen, it feels like for some reason we give him so many chances, but we haven't really given him so many chances.
Yeah.
When you actually delve into it.
Keep trying to convince yourself, Daryl. Keep trying.
Yeah, can you tell? Look, he's right-handed. The step up and trip, I think, is a good move. He's clearly very, very talented.
Yeah.
This Buzz shouldn't be at the level Goshen should be at. He shouldn't. And neither should any of the others, really. He's already beaten someone 22 lengths. I mean, people blame the ground for someone that day at Wincanton, but he's won on soft and heavy ground previously in his career. So I don't know. It's strange. Guard Your Dreams is very interesting. Couldn't give a chance to Molly Ollie's wishes. But surely, if even half of the Goshen turns up that we see the sparks of last year, he has to win this.
Yeah.
He has to win this.
Yeah.
God, that's going to be clipped up and it's all going to look absolutely stupid again.
We love confidence and we love confident shouts on this. And that's why we get so much positive feedback, is because we are fully invested behind our selection. As you say, on ability, I agree. That's why I sided with him at Wincanton the last time, because I thought he is the best horse in this race, ability-wise. And then I saw the ground at Wincanton, which we know is very different to Ascot, even when it's good. Wincanton is rattling. And that was my concern there. So I would be less concerned about the good ground at Ascot than for him.
And the trip is a good move, I think. I think that step up and trip is a good move.
As you say, and with all top juvenile hurdlers, they want a trick in time. So I just think it's been coming a while.
Come on, Kate, get on the bandwagon. Get on the Goshen.
I can't do it.
Yes, you can.
When I do the park run, I'm slow. When I step up and trip to a half marathon, I'm still slow. So we'll see. Doesn't always work.
And your underfoot conditions, that has no factor either with you.
Absolutely
You're versatile.
Not. Still slow.
Versatilely slow on all of it. But yeah, I can't have an opinion in that race. I'm leaving it to you two, and that's my get out of jail free card. Just fascinated. Right, 3:15 then at Ascot. We sign off our scheduled races with a handicap chase over 2.5 miles a furlong. Really intriguing race. We only have 7 runners, with Before Midnight as a market leader from Sky Pirate. But we do know plenty about these lot lining up here. So Daryl, who gets your vote?
I actually don't know. I've just noticed though that Diego de Charmel has been really well backed. 14s into 6.
Oh, he has. There he goes. Yeah.
Off a mark of 150. This is a really strange race. These lot have faced each other quite a few times. I found it really difficult to split them. I thought Amula Gold, first time cheek pieces, was interesting. He's only been beaten by First Flow at Ascot. He's rated 162. So I thought there was more to come from him, but he can get himself too far back, and that is just a slight concern. Maybe they put the cheek pieces on him just to try and keep him alert in the mid part of his race. I don't know. It might be a good move. He could run out a good winner here. I wouldn't like Sky Pirate going this way round. He can jump out slightly out to the left. I know he won his point right-handed, but he has been beaten 3 times on the right-handed track since. Before Midnight was very, very good at Cheltenham. Very good. But he is now up to a mark of 144. He's going to have to improve again. The bare form for me is not, I haven't seen any reason to see why he could defy this mark, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sully Dock is interesting. I'd forgive that run last time. behind the Moolah Gold. That just wasn't him. I don't know, for whatever reason. He's normally got a good record fresh, so it'd probably be a slight concern. But the run at Punchestown the time before, he's what, £7, £8 higher in the weights, but that run at Punchestown was a very, very good run. He's only a 7-year-old. He's very, very lightly raced. Aidan Coleman's been booked as well, which is quite eye-catching for Anthony Honeyball. 24% stroke rate they've got, so he's definitely of interest. But I don't think there's a lot to split any of these. I honestly think one poor jump or one better jump here or there will be the difference. So it wouldn't surprise me if we had a really close finish. This is my get out of jail free card.
You've used a good race for it, to be fair. To say these lot, I mean, they'll probably turn up down at the side, like, oh, hi, mate, you're right. It's nice to see you again. They know each other so well. You know, they'll be having a nice little chin wag together down at the start. Yeah, there really is nothing to split these lots at all. So, Andrew, can you?
Yeah, I've bet on it. This is a cracking race. I mean, it's a touch of deja vu because we had Before Midnight and Sky Pirate running against each other at Cheltenham on the 23rd of October when we were all keen on both their chances. And I think we've kind of said, you know, the reverse forecast isn't going to be a bad bet. And at the time, though, it was like 7-2 Sky Pirates, a 13-2 Before Midnight. When they've gone off, it's 2-1 favourite before Midnight, and then 3-1 Sky Pirate. So that's not exactly paid as much as we expected when we looked at it 48 hours earlier. But at the prices today, I can be against both of them. And Amula Gold, one Daryl mentioned, said won here last time out, only won narrowly from Monsieur Leclerc. The cheap pieces go on, and you look at his record at this time of year: October and November over fences, 6 runs, 4 wins, a second and a third. Profited £29.50 to a £1 stake. Before Midnight, I think we'll confirm the form with Sky Pirate. I'd probably put him in the play spot, but wouldn't back him. But the one I have bet is Dolos, who from Paul Nicholls now, same colours as Diego de Charma, one Daryl mentioned. He's got a fantastic record right-handed. He's got a fantastic record when fresh. Now, he often runs in Grade 1, Grade 2 races, and he's not quite good enough. He falls into this sort of good handicapper rather than graded performer. But you look at his record in handicap chases, right-handed. Second, first, second, first, second. 3 runs, 3 seconds from 6 starts. One of those seconds came in a Grade 2 handicap chase, the Halden Gold Cup at Exeter. So that's, you know, probably a bit hard. You know, calling that handicap is probably a bit harsh in the race. So I think Dolos is going to, first time out, right-handed, is going to run really well. Now, he's 14-1. You look at it and think, oh, you know, could do with, like, you know, an extra runner here for the places. But there are a couple of firms who are offering 3 places, despite there only being 7. And they're still offering 14-1. So, yeah, Dolos, for me, I think is going to run a really good race. And again, this could be a race that makes or breaks the place pot. 7 runners, you know, if you get a Nichols 1-2 with Dolos and Diego de Charmil, you know, 14s and 10s, you know, it's going to pay a nice few quid. So, yeah, could be an upset here, I think.
I wish I gave £18 to First Flow at Sandown last February as well.
Yeah, exactly. As you say, yeah, and considering that 14-1 does not look too bad. And I wish I'd been writing up my play spot for Saturday instead of Sunday with all of these favourable mentions as well for all of these horses. And it's a tricky race, but I myself, I mean, there were 2 horses I was interested in, obviously with Before Midnight. I mean, he ticks all the boxes for me. He's just so progressive. So I thought he could defy this £8 rise and uphold the form with Sky Pirate, as you've both said. And he is so well weighted in this race. But as you said, Daryl, on his RPRs as well, there's nothing to suggest he's necessarily going to come forwards. But it's just sort of the visual impression he left on me last time out, that he's difficult to oppose for the win. But the horse I can't escape, that again, Daryl, you gave a very favourable mention to there, was Sully Doc. Because again, he ticks all the boxes for me in this race. Last time out, I thought it looked as much a reappearance run as anything else. For all his record, fresh is pretty good, but that was over this course and distance. They just went a mad gallop as well up front, where he was up with the pace, probably paid for that ultimately. Yet I did like the way he still stuck to the task when he was even passed out by the eventual winner, Amula Gold. That can be so demoralizing for a horse, but when that happens, but yet he plugged on and, you know, he still managed to finish then 5th. So he has been dropped £5 for that run, should come forwards for it, and is likely to have the race run much more to suit here as well. So he would be my selection at his current price of around 17-2 as well. So tricky race, but we've all got an angle into it at least anyway. So anything else from Ascot, please, Andrew?
Yeah, Jazz King in the 12.20 for Sam Thomas. Massive eye catcher on his final of 2 starts last year. That was at Fontwell in January in a maiden bumper, where Jordan Naylor's kept him in the swamp on the inside rail. He's performed miracles to finish second that day. Only just chinned on his comeback at Foss last, beating a neck. So I think there's definitely races to be won with Jazz King, 12.20.
Nice. Yeah, Jazz King around 5-4 there in the 12.20 at Ascot. Darryl, yourself, please.
Nah, nothing at the minute.
Yeah.
honestly, I struggled so much with this Ascot card.
Yeah.
I'm really worried for my safety with my friends tomorrow.
You're gonna have a great day on Saturday. You're gonna have a really great day. Just enjoy the complimentary drinks in the box and fame that, yeah, as much as anything else. So Darryl, back to you for anything from anywhere else then. No problem. And Andrew, yourself, please.
255 Lingfield MJ23 has improved since joining Alice Haynes, and very interesting back on Polytrack.
Yeah, and sorry, just to go back in that was in the 220, did you say?
255 at Lingfield, I think. Yeah.
255, apologies.
MJ23, yeah.
There we go. Couldn't see him there. Yep, MJ23 in the 255 at Lingfield. So all that's left to do is get your naps, please. So Andrew, your nap.
I think I'm going to go ask Dillon in the 3 mile handicap hurdle at Haydock, even though I've bet Stony Mountain as well. At the price is 25 to 1. Ask Dillon.
Yeah, wonderful. And Darryl, yourself, please.
I nearly went Art Surprise at Haydock, but I'm going to go Royal Pagaille.
Ooh,
I
nice.
really think he's been underestimated. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. So Royal Pagaille then in the Betfair Chase. And I am last minute deciding what my nap's going to be. I haven't thought this through until literally now. And I was so tempted to go with If the Cat Fits, but with Orbys Legend in that Stayers hurdle as well. I'm hedging my bets between the pair of those two. So I'm just going to play it with a straight bat, a Plutard in the 3 o'clock at Haydock in the Betfair Chase. Oh, goodness me. That I was literally, the cogs were ticking, could you tell?
On purpose.
As I was just because as soon as you said Royal Pagaille, I thought, well, I may as well take one. But yeah, let the best nap win. So that's everything from us then for this weekend. A huge thank you to the lads for all of their work as per usual. Big thank you to our sponsor, SBK. Best of luck with your bets this weekend, and we hope you enjoy the action as much as we're going to as well.